I think hopefully we're live now. We might be live. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, I think. Okay, yeah, we're live. We're live. Okay. Here we go. Drop frames. Oh my gosh, still dropping frames.
Check.
Check. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
I think we're good here.
Test. Let's see.
Wonders
here.
of live broadcasting, you know?
Yeah, exactly. The joys.
The joys.
Cole, okay. For everybody who's just joining up, sorry about that, guys. We're having some technical difficulties. Cole, walk us through while I get this figured out. Kind of,
so
just kind of recap everything.
Yeah, I would say that we're expecting a very strong grassroots turnout here tonight at the Farm Bureau Expo Center here in Lebanon, Tennessee. Cole Dodson, Drew Chandler here with you tonight from the Love Jesus Company broadcast studios. We're on remote here in Lebanon, Tennessee with all the latest going on. So I could tell you this, folks, big time grassroots event. We're expecting almost, if not a totally complete capacity crowd here for Monty Fritts. And, and the thing is that we see a lot of the games going on within the other GOP organizations. The Florida GOP not hosting debates. The Tennessee GOP, they don't want to host debates. They want to keep Marcia hidden, wherever she might be, whether in her mansion in Brentwood or Washington, D.C. in her little penthouse, And that's
Sure.
not right, and I think that's very unfair to the voters of Tennessee who want to see a three-way debate between Fritts, Congressman John Rose of Cookeville, Tennessee, and Senator Blackburn as well. And the thing is that the one way that people really get to interact with voters, or I'm sorry, their elected officials,
Right.
is by debates and public forums and these, social media events that they host. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of showboating. We're seeing a lot of, restricted access. Some are even doing the limited hangout situation where they tell you some nice things and give you a little bit, but they don't really give you the whole picture and the whole story of what's really going on. And Monty Fritts has been the one person that I feel has really tried to tell everybody what's really going on in the state of Tennessee, and who is also interested in actually, saving Tennessee from all these, big corporations. Starbucks, $30 million. They want corporate welfare. These AI data centers that want to pollute our water. And,
Huge one.
And we got to get that shut down. And I mean, if we elect someone that's, a creature of the establishment, then I really have some bad feelings for the future, not just for Tennessee, but frankly for the rest of the United States of America. And we got to get mobilized. We got to get these grassroots candidates elected, and we have really got to watch who's running for some of these offices, especially the local offices. You're going to have some people that are going to run as a staunch conservative grassroots Christian candidate. Oh, no new taxes and stuff. And next thing you know, once the primary is over, they're taking picture with the establishment, and they're canceling on events, and it's just not a good look. And we've got to fix that.
Well, and everybody always talks about, I don't like the candidate the Republicans put up, but we got to vote Republican either way. And it's like, dude, this is your chance to get out and vote and actually change who the nominee is. Everybody's always arguing, and rightly so. I agree. A lot of the Republican nominees, a lot of the Republican candidates suck. They do. And, that's why these primaries are so important. That's why I like Monty a lot, because he's very transparent, like Cole was talking about with the data centers, or, whenever it comes to some of the other social issues we got going on in Tennessee. It's important we get out and vote. It's important we come to events like these,
yes,
right, and network with people and meet people, meet like-minded people we can work on projects with, really take our state back.
Absolutely.
And be the actual conservative leader in America, not just, on paper and then behind closed doors. Dealing
at the $1,000 plate dinner with a rubber chicken and everything. I mean, that's just disgusting. I mean, I don't
sickening.
I don't want to sit here and just say bash the GOP. I'm a firm GOP voter. I've been voting, straight ticket down the ballot Republican ever since I was able to vote in 2018. That was my first year voting. Voted for Greg Abbott in Texas, Ted Cruz, and the Senate as well. And sadly, the problem that I feel like the Republicans have is that they're running off an old playbook. They're running off, the 2022 playbook for the midterms and the 2024 playbook with the generals and whatnot. And they're using this message of, vote Republican no matter who because we're just so good and, we're Christian and everything. And I'm like, guys, that is 10% of what it takes to be a Republican is just being a good, outstanding Christian.
Right.
You need the other 90%. You need to give the voters a cake. And what is a cake? Clean water, roads that don't have potholes that look like a B-52 carpet bomb.
Common sense, right?
Exactly.
Common sense.
People want a high quality of service, when you go to the DMV to get your license renewed. Mm-hmm. They don't want somebody that's going to, just shuffle them around like they don't care. People just want a higher level of service within their elected officials, and unfortunately, we're not getting that. And I do feel as though we have a candidate quality situation. Yep. That the establishment, they like to push these, weak-kneed figures that are just going to toe the party line. And, and there was one commissioner, I'm not going to name him out of respect. There's one commissioner in Knox County running for the state election commission, the state Republican election commission, and he's over here demanding loyalty oaths. For anybody that's running for a political office on the Republican ticket in Tennessee, and I think that's just not right. No,
yeah, we can't have that. We got to, and I like what you said too about making sure our candidates are Christian, right? Making sure they're truly America first, making sure that they're not just going to scam us over whenever push comes to shove, making sure they're actually going to stand up for the values. Noah said in chat here, he said, "When do Marsha and John show up?" Well,
we've been trying.
It's funny. And of course, he's saying that facetiously, but yeah, it's true. There's supposed to be a debate tonight, but they both canceled. So, and then the audacity of John. I want to know your thoughts on this too. The audacity of John to come out right after and post on X and say, "I'm up for a debate anytime, anywhere."
I saw that and I was like, well, apparently he needs the Marsha media attention because everywhere she goes, of course, you're going to have all the big establishment figures showing up. And not only that, but because, she brings in all the establishment media attention, everything. Rose wants that. But he goes on 99.7 WTN here in Nashville, Tennessee, and says that debating Monty Fritts is punching down. And I'm like, excuse me? In case you forgot, he is on the ballot. Yep. And you still have to run against him. And right now, Monty Fritts, when it comes to just pure, ground and pound campaigning, he is whipping everybody's rear end
100%.
In that department. And nobody's even come close. I mean, seriously.
Monty Fritts is the only guy actually talking to the voters.
Yes. He's talking to
the only guy talking to the voters. I mean,
he's speaking to Tennesseans every day.
Yeah, he's actually speaking to. That's right, exactly. Welcome everybody that just joined. Appreciate everybody watching tonight again. This is the 7th episode of the Love Jesus podcast. I'm joined here today with Cole Dodson. Cole, where can people find you on X and stuff? And
you can find me on X at Cole Dodson 1701 or at Pine Island HD on X. Obviously, I do Tennessee politics, but I don't just limit myself to Tennessee. I like to remain untethered. I've been working on Florida politics as well. If you live in Florida's 6th congressional district, Aaron Baker is your man. This guy has been working probably one of the hardest ground and pound grassroots campaigns I have ever seen. I mean, him and Monty, I feel like, are really in competition for who's really got the most solid grassroots campaign. Obviously, James Fishback in between. We've been helping out with him. I got some friends out in Texas with the Nimrod Pod as well. We're trying to get some big interviews lined up. I know he's working on Paul Renner, the former Speaker of the Florida House, who was one of the guys at the debate stage with the PBD podcast. We're trying to get him. I know I'm trying to help him get that. We got some other big ones. I know we got help. We got John Henry, who's a real strong grassroots candidate here in Tennessee, running for Congress that I feel like we need to get an interview of as well. He is a great guy to vote for. I want to say he's running in I believe he's running a John Rosa district. I know Scott DeJarle, he's got many different competitors in his election as well down over in Tullahoma in that area. So that's a big one coming up. But, we got a lot of stuff coming up. We're working on getting Aaron Baker on for another interview before the Florida primary start at August 18th. I know early voting is about to begin here in the next couple of weeks. Early voting starting here in Tennessee as well.
Go vote. Important, super important. Go vote.
Super important. August 6th is the big enchilada. We need to get everybody out for that as well. Every young voter we can get on August 6th, we need to have them out, campaigning, for Monty Fritts, get them out to vote. We need to be filling up everybody's text messages, email boards, X DMs, your Instagram DMs, send them propaganda with Monty Fritts, man.
Yep.
He's putting out some really great reels and stuff, and I've been watching his social media page explode. Just, I mean, I remember when we talked at the
Absolutely.
East Tennessee Young Republicans Forum, I was saying, like, you know, some of these pages and stuff are a little low, but ever since that episode, he has just exploded in numbers on Instagram and everything. So get those reels ferried out to all your friends, everyone you can get
share it.
a hold of, and, you know, tell them to get out and vote. Early voting's right now, and August 6th is the big enchilada. We need to get out and vote. So.
Yep. And you know, some people, there might be some new people in the chat here asking, you know, why Monty Fritts specifically, right? Why Monty Fritts? Why not John Rose, not Marsha? Because we talked about some of their, you know, bad campaigning per se, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's intentional or unintentional. Intentional.
Milquetoast.
But what? but no, I mean, just as far as policy goes, I mean, Monty beats him on everything, right? Monty's going to instill Christ back into government, which is my personal favorite. You know, this is the Love Jesus podcast, but I mean, truly, it is nice to see somebody who is outspoken about Christ. It is nice to see somebody who is interested in actually preserving small government in Tennessee.
Amen, yes.
Not expanding Nashville, not expanding spending, actually putting your money in the right place, getting rid of, you know, he calls it the corporate welfare state.
4% cut on the sales tax, grocery sales tax. Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, that, and
Yeah.
what people don't realize is that's actually a really big thing, you know, especially for young people, is that we're over here getting crushed on daily living in the state of Tennessee and everywhere else for that matter. And Monty Fritts is the one person I have heard in this entire campaign cycle, aside from Fishback with some other great ideas like, what is it with the school choice? You don't have to pay school tax if you want to send your kid to private school. That was one of his deals. But Monty, the 4% grocery sales tax cut is huge.
Yes.
Hugely popular, and no one else is talking about that. I mean, Monty is running a revolutionary campaign.
I believe that's the only candidate that's committed to that, right?
The only
To cutting-
candidate, not just in the state of Tennessee, the only candidate in the country, in the
Interesting.
entire United States of America that is committed to cutting the 4% sales tax on groceries
Yep.
for you, so that way you have more money in your pocket. And that is, as a young person like both of us here, that is major. So we got to make sure we get those, get some good policy in. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, well, it looks like we got about probably 6 minutes here until the official event starts. I believe the event's what, going 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock?
6 o'clock,
excuse me.
yes. 6
Okay,
o'clock
yep.
Central.
Yep, it is currently 5:54 Central here right now in Lebanon, Tennessee, coming at you live from the Monty Fritts events. What's up? Here's Deep Dive Dane.
Of the show.
Groyper General.
Definitely the best looking one. Beardley, I got your number, motherfucker. Excuse my language. Love you. Actually, God bless you. I hope that you do better.
God bless.
Monty is going to be going live at 7:30. He's going to get up on the stage and talk for a few minutes, right? And then we're going to do our events and stuff. He's going to actually do 7:30, and we want to capture the whole thing. Mike's already
7:30 or 6:30?
7:30 is when he
7:30
goes.
7:30 Central.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever time it is here.
Okay, cool. All right. Cool. Well, yeah. We're gonna be hosting the whole time. We're gonna try to stay live the whole time as long as they'll let us.
You know we can go 2-3 hours on the air. I mean, goodness,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
Hey, like, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, they fly by so fast,
Yes,
and
Dane.
we have so much. And when you're having fun, time flies, guys.
True. Let's see here. Noah says Monty Moggs, every other candidate in every category, policy, energy. It's 100% true. 100% true. He's the only. You know what? On that note, he's really the only candidate with energy, with real energy behind him. You don't have to make this like a Monty's Glaze Fest the whole time, but like, you know, it is just objectively true that Monty does mog everybody. So you're absolutely right about that, Noah. If you guys have anything in chat, go ahead and type in chat. We're live on YouTube. We should be live on X. We're live on Rumble as well. So go ahead and comment down, and we'll try to read your guys' comments here. Let me know what you're thinking.
Yeah, right now we got these
thinking in
people
the
around
chat.
us that are just sneaking in pictures and stuff of us going live on the air and whatnot. And, you know, everyone just waving at us. So just if you see me kind of looking over, it's because somebody's over here snapping some pics of a couple
Come say
young
what's
guys live
we got-
on the air. You know, you won't find any coverage better than this. I'll tell you what.
Exactly. We got Rachel Mel here in chat. If my phone will load, let's see here. See if we can pull this up right here.
Sorry, I got the MC
Rachel
over here and they're
Mel.
telling us we were 4 minutes from launch.
Sorry,
so.
Rachel, your chat is not loading. Okay, here we go. John and Marsha are relying heavily on the 65-plus demographic who don't do their research and vote based on cringe TV ads, Fox News, and junk mailers. Yeah, I totally agree. Monty's campaign is heavily, targeting the younger generation, which is pretty revolutionary when you think about it. Monty's campaign really is the only. I mean, would you agree with that, Cole? that Monty's campaign truly is the only campaign that is targeting the young voters. And,
It is.
And, John and Marsha's campaign has somewhat tried to do that, but like Rachel's saying, they've heavily relied on that 65-plus crowd to
Oh,
push them over the edge.
I mean, you are seeing a lot of boomers start to show up, and a lot of, some of these Gen Xers and stuff that are really in tune with that whole crowd, the whole establishment group. And unfortunately, when you're between the ages of 18 and 30 in the Republican Party, some people will call you disloyal if all of a sudden you don't toe the party line and support weak candidates. And, I just recently went through that. Again, I'm not going to really call anybody out just out of respect because, a lot of the guys that I worked with, in some of these Republican clubs and whatnot have been just really respectful, super nice. So, but on the other hand, if you're someone that is in political media like you and I,
Right.
there's a certain level of integrity that has to go into your reporting and anything you talk about. And if someone is a weak candidate that goes around campaigning, talking about no new taxes and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, once the primary is over, they totally forget about the general and the fact that you still have job interviews to show up at, like forums, for example, or debates and whatnot, and all of a sudden they're really hard to get a hold of. You put in a media request, they just leave you on red, and you got a lot of that going on. And then, anybody that, once you call them out for that and they're BS, all of a sudden you're coming under massive attack. How dare you attack a Republican candidate because they're weak? Well, I'm sorry.
The truth.
Yeah,
For telling the truth.
it's called, when you're running for office, one of the job descriptions that you have is that you are supposed to go out and talk to the people. And when you're skipping
Absolutely.
events hosted by other Republicans, bona fide Republicans, mind you, because Tennessee has these somewhat archaic rules concerning, who's bona fide and who's not. And if you're not bona fide or something, then you can't run, and they have to make you run as independent. They're doing it to Dane. I mean, my goodness, in Hawkins County. Just to throw that out there. Which, by the way, I hope he wins. He's going to make if he wins, he's going to make one of the best commissioner that county has ever seen.
Hawkins County, go vote Dane Chisholm. Dane Chisholm, he's an independent candidate, great dude.
And he's one of us.
Yeah, and
He's one of us.
Exactly.
He's another young guy as well. But when candidates don't show up for their job interview and they have a repeated pattern of not of doing so, then at me as a media professional in this industry, I have to call them out. Otherwise, I have no integrity myself.
Yes.
So, and of course, it's going to rub some feathers, but I don't really mind because I'm not here to bend the knee to the establishment. I'm not here to support weak candidates. I'm here to get real patriots elected, and that is our responsibility as media professionals to get real patriots elected who are going to, represent us for once. So, and if that rubs the establishment the wrong way, and if I'm not allowed to be a part of the club or whatever, then so be it. I wasn't a part of the club to begin with. I'm here to win a war. I'm not here to fight battles. I'm here to win a war, and this is a war, and it's a ground and pound, long and hard game.
Yeah, and so I guess, segueing from all that into my next question I had is, what do you think, so going into 2028 elections, right? We have the, the presidential election coming up in 2028, right? What do you think is kind of going to be the future of Tennessee, say that a Marsha Blackburn or say a John Rose wins, right? Because you tend to know a lot more about, statewide politics than I do. I'm still trying to learn.
Yeah.
So what do you think that looks like?
I would say that if a Marsha Blackburn or a John Rose, I mean, with John Rose, I feel like you're going to get more of the same, just your typical status quo, Governor Lee style of politics, which I'm not going to say that Governor Bill Lee has been bad per se, but also on the other hand, he hasn't been just 100%. I would say he's like a C average.
Right.
And that's what you're really going to get with John Rose. If Marsha Blackburn wins, God forbid, then I say that we are really in trouble. And if we think the Democrat victories are going to be big this year, 2028 is going to be just a real slacking. And it goes back to Thomas Massey's points. He's been coming out on the media circuit lately, and he was saying, why is the Republican Party complaining about the elections in China and all this stuff? Like, first off, China doesn't own any farmland in Tennessee. They're banned. Marsha Blackburn is running a gubernatorial campaign based on national level politics, and it's like it doesn't apply. She's not doing her research. She's letting her handlers and her campaign staff run an entire campaign for her, and all she's doing is she's campaigning in Atlanta, Georgia after the primary to go fundraise down there. And I'm like, what?
And Republicans have complained about Joe Biden. I mean, how many times do you hear the Republicans complain about Joe Biden hiding in the basement all through 2020? basement Biden, right? Hiding Biden. Where's
Yeah.
Joe? Where's Joe? Where's Joe? And now it's like, where's Marsha? And nobody wants to call that out. Where's Marsha? Why is she not doing the debate tonight, right?
Oh,
This whole thing.
hey, you better be careful, man. You might get kicked out of some of the clubs.
Oh, I know,
no.
man. I know.
Oh,
How dare
goodness.
I? How dare I
Hey,
say
guys,
that?
just saying, the ones that, and they know who they are, just so you know, you made me madder than a hornet, as we like to say down south, because we're, true Southerners here. And, I'm just saying, like, I'm here to fight a war. I'm not here to fight the battles, and y'all got something coming. Just saying. I mean, I got some real nasties coming down the pike, and, I'm not a bitter guy. I'm not somebody that does a revenge tour stuff. Again, I take nothing personally from politics, but again, it's an integrity issue, and if you don't have integrity and telling me that we're not going to support her in January and then come out in July and say you don't get in line, we got to just, get rid of you. What do you expect?
Again, and here's the point that you're making, which is so important, and it's like, if Monty was a Democrat, right? If he was running on a Democrat, but he had all the same principles, right? But it's just the Democrat as a name. It's like, I would vote for Monty, right? I'm not partisan. I just don't play that way. I call balls and strikes, and that's the way I play.
The left-right paradigm is dead. That's what it is. I mean,
I think it's real. I think it is real, but I would push back on it a little bit. It is real, but I know what you're saying, though, right? In the sense of, like, you have to vote Republican no matter what, and Democrat no matter what, right?
Yeah, but but younger people don't. We don't really look at it that way. I mean, it is the whole fishback deal of. Sorry, they got the MC behind us going on, but it's the whole fishback deal of that is two wings of the same bird, and all I want to do is take a 12 gauge and blast it out the air. And that's the thing is, like, I mean, again, there's an anti-establishment Democrat running in Knox County. I mean, and he's showing up to events. How am I going to sit here and
debates?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey,
Yeah.
well,
Hey, the Republican candidate,
not the best. Not the best of the bunch.
Anytime WVLT or WBIR or WAT, which is the big three in Knoxville, in the Knoxville television market, anytime they call, all of a sudden the schedule magically goes clear. But, the grassroots events hosted by actual, real Republicans, sorry.
We're too busy. Sorry, we have
Too
campaign
busy,
events.
yeah. We'll cancel last minute.
All right, I'm going to catch up on chat a little bit here.
Go
Cole, you
ahead.
can help me answer these. It says, Brenda says Monty's going to be great for TN. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
Yep. Let's see here. Jonah, is it Jonah? Says Monty. Let's go. Monty, W. Monty's. And then Noah says the Mohawk goes, I know. We need to get Patriot Punk on. Where's Patriot Punk? We need to get him on for an interview.
He was floating around here a
If he
second
walks-
ago.
If he walks back by, I'll get him over here and see if he wants to do a quick little interview real quick.
let me.
but,
I can't find him,
Patriot
man.
Punk, he's awesome. He's a good guy. You guys need to go watch the show. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
actually,
Yeah.
John Gentry, that behind us, actually.
Yeah.
You wanna-
See if he wants to do an event.
Hey, Mr. Gentry.
Gentry,
They want to interview you.
would you like to do an interview real quick? We're doing a live stream. Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get him hooked up here. We got John Gentry. He's a candidate for the Tennessee House, District 45, I believe, which represents
Mr. Gentry.
Hey.
Good to meet you, brother.
Hey,
What's going on? So, John, so what exactly is your platform? What are you running on? Because Cole was telling me that you're running for office, correct?
Yeah, I'm running for Tennessee House of Representatives, House District 45. It's on the
yes.
southwest portion of Sumner County.
Nice. Okay. Cool. What what are your thoughts on tonight? What are you kind of expecting for tonight? You excited to see Monty?
I'm excited to see Monty and to see the crowds of people that are coming here. It's
Absolutely.
so exciting, to hear Monty speak.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to him, telling us about the plans for Tennessee, getting back to a constitutional government, which we desperately need, a constitutional government again today, because what's happening with our Tennessee government today is our senators and representatives very often don't care about the Tennessee Constitution.
Amen.
And it is the number one or the only qualification for office is an oath to support the Constitution of the state, and our senators and representatives largely don't care.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. They care when it's time to get sworn in, but then after that, it's kind of like, yeah.
Well, they're around when they need your vote.
Oh yeah. Of
They're
course.
around
Well,
there
yeah,
when
they'll
you
say all the
need-
right
yeah.
stuff when you need to vote. Yeah, exactly. Cole and I were just talking about that earlier. That Monty really is the only candidate who is for small government, for bringing back constitutionality in our government. Monty's the only one talking to the people. What have you seen? What are your thoughts on some of the other candidates like not wanting to debate? Isn't that kind of weird?
Well, I think they're running scared. I mean, we all saw the East Tennessee Young Republicans, almost debate with John Rose and Monty Fritts. And Monty Fritts won the crowd. He had command of the issues.
Absolutely.
Every issue out there.
Yes.
And better ideas, and it resonated with the people in there. And so, of course, John Rose is going to run scared. And, you know, with Blackburn, you know, we've all seen the elevator interview that was out there, non-interview that was out there. And, you know, I don't know that she's actually capable. It's not that she's afraid that you know, Monty may perform better. I wonder if she's actually not capable of performing in a debate, perhaps like we saw with Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is that Marcia is relying on the D.C. handlers to run her campaign and her operation, and just hoping that she can just, you know, hide away, do events in Atlanta, Georgia, fundraisers, and not talk to the voters of Tennessee. And I feel like that Tennessee voters are really seeing that their elected officials that are currently in office right now, running for another high office as well, statewide office, they're seeing them, you know, dodge them, not answer any questions. They're always at the $1,000 a plate dinner events where they're blocking out these, you know, huge portions of the tables. And I feel like the voters here, which is a very strong grassroots operation in the state. I am so impressed by how it is here in Tennessee with the grassroots. I mean, just amazing group of people out here. And it's a big change from where I came from in Texas, you know. And I always talk to, you know, my friends down in Texas. I'm like, Tennessee and Texas have a very rich shared history. Sam Houston and Davy Crockett were both Tennesseans, you know, and Sam Houston was a governor and a U.S. representative. Davy Crockett was also a congressman as well, and they went down to Texas. And the way I see it is that I'm just a Texan coming back to help my brothers in Tennessee, you know, win a war that is, you know, unfortunately really gotten very intense within the Republican Party. So, and I feel like the grassroots needs to come out and win this. And you know, and seeing Monty and the energy he brings and the aura, and the fact that he's running a very solid grassroots campaign operation here, I'm really happy that, you know, that people are starting to get the message. And not only that, but I've actually been following your Facebook page for quite some time, and actually I've discovered Monty through your Facebook page, and I know that your pages have grown significantly since the beginning of the election. So I just want to talk about the impact that you've had for Monty and other grassroots candidates like John Henry, who's running for Congress as well. Talk about the impact that that's had for the election here in 2026.
Well, you know, for myself, I was so disappointed with the choices that we had with Blackburn and Rose.
Yes.
And so, you know, I ran for governor back in 2022 just to give people a decent choice. And I used my campaign as a platform to teach people about our Tennessee Constitution.
Amen.
And so, you know, I thought about throwing my hat in the ring again, you know. But then as soon as I saw, I was actually with family up north, and my wife's family, and then I saw that Monty was running, and I was like, thank God I don't have to, you know, get up.
Yes.
And thank God that we have, like, I knew from the day that he announced that Monty is the man to run for the governor's office. And from the outset, you know, I threw my support 100% behind Monty, because I know he will defend the Tennessee Constitution. Yeah. I have watched Monty Fritts on the floor, witnessed him myself, stand up against leadership and oppose legislation that was plainly in violation of the Constitution. Yep. The only member out of 99 of them that had the courage to do that. And I think that it is so important, you know, for people in office to honor and respect the Tennessee Constitution. And so I knew Monty Fritts, you know, as soon as he announced, I was like, I was so excited about it.
Yeah. And when I saw it too, I mean, I'm still learning the name of the game, and I feel like I've really gotten a really good grasp of how everything works here in Tennessee, and, you know, a very, very healthy grassroots operation, as I've said many times. You know, seeing Monty in the campaign that he's run by far one of the best campaigns I have seen in nationally. Nationally, he's running one of the best campaigns. I mean, second only to, you know, maybe James Fishback, and I feel like Monty's doing a better job than him in some aspects as well. The 4% cutting of the grocery sales tax. Nobody in the Republican Party, nobody is talking about those. They won't even touch it.
They won't even touch it.
And it's just so heartbreaking that, you know, we can't get good representation anymore. But I'm glad we're seeing that the grassroots are starting to stand up.
Yeah, this has been an incredible brilliant campaign for Monty Fritts and his team out there. The grassroots support is so overwhelming. People are out there tying signs to their cars, writing on their cars. They're getting creative. People out waiting for an oil change and they stand on the side of the road with a yard sign, and wait. People are doing everything they can to raise awareness for Monty Fritts. And I think he's going to win. I really do.
I think so.
With this being a three-way race out there, you don't have to get 50%. Theoretically, you can win with 33.001.
True. Yeah.
And so I think that Monty has reached tremendous grassroots support across the state of Tennessee. We're seeing it here tonight. And I'm looking forward to Monty taking over in the governor's office after the election.
Yep. So, John, kind of piggybacking off that, what do you think that Tennessee will look like in a few years if Monty does get the governorship? What do you kind of expect in Tennessee the layout to look like? It'd be beautiful.
I'll tell you, I actually have a very clear vision of this, and it's very important. And this is an example about getting back to the Constitution. So Monty has talked about holding, I don't know what he calls it yet, I call it like a People's Day, where he's going to open the governor's office up and welcome any citizen, and he'll set it up on a Saturday or something, where citizens can come and talk about what concerns them, or maybe present an idea about how to address some issue in government. That's actually a right that we have in Article 1, Section 23.
Interesting.
That no governor and that our legislative houses actually grossly oppress that right today. Our governor will refuse to have a citizen come in and present grievances to them, and that is actually a foundational constitutional right. It's actually the cornerstone of our Republican form of government. And Article 1, Section 23, it says that citizens have a right to apply to those invested with the powers of government to redress of grievances or other proper purposes by address or remonstrance. So we literally have a constitutional right to make an application.
Right.
And you're coming from Texas. It's almost exactly the same language in the Texas Constitution.
It is.
In Texas, it says by petition, address, or remonstrance. And by address, that literally means a citizen having a constitutional right to orally address our legislative bodies and actually participate in our government. So what does Tennessee look like, after this Monty Fritts administration, if he's elected? It's going to be a state where people can participate and actually be heard in their government, which is absolutely amazing and incredible in today's world. Rather than having our phone calls and our emails ignored, that we're actually personally heard. And I consider that a restoration of our republic.
Amen. Switching gears, there's something else that I've been kind of thinking about. You mentioned the state constitution. So Representative Fritts is wanting to get rid of the school voucher program because it violates the Tennessee Constitution. And I feel as though that the voucher program has been severely abused and misused in the state. Fishback in Florida, he's been talking about one of the things he wants to do is he wants to use the school tax money that normally goes to all the public schools and stuff. He wants to create a program where if you want to send your kid to private school, that you should not have to pay school taxes. And I feel as though Monty reforming the voucher program and not completely getting rid of that and bringing it and restoring education in Tennessee is the Fishback model, where if a person doesn't want to pay the school tax, they want to send their kid to private school. Is that something you would be open to advocating for in the Tennessee House if you're elected?
With certain aspects of that, the property taxes that we pay would go to our county governments, and about 60-70% of that money goes to fund the schools out there. But let's go back to the school vouchers themselves. In the Tennessee Constitution, Article 11, Section 8, says the legislature shall have no power to pass any laws benefiting any individual or individuals that could not by the same law be brought into view with any other member of the community. So if you can't do it for everyone, you can't do it for anyone. We have 42%, half of the school districts in this state do not have a private school at all. And so rural dwellers do not have a choice of where to take their kid to a private school. So even if they qualify, it is not available to them. That is not fair. And it's unconstitutional. And when we start violating a provision of our Constitution because it may be convenient for some, then the entire document becomes unenforceable. So if we want something like the program that we have now, we need to change the Constitution, and that needs to be ratified by the people first, beforehand. So it is a clear violation of the state constitution, the school voucher program. You know, when we talk about reallocating those dollars and taking that with them. So let's say I pay $3,000 in property taxes. 60% of that is going to fund the local school in there. Should that follow them? You know, another proposal that I'm looking at is what DeSantis is doing in Florida and doing the homestead exemption. So what I would rather do with that is let's start with $50,000 of a primary residence is tax exempt, you know, and it's not going to be able to be taxed by the county. So let's get back to what
sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey,
it's great meeting you, brother.
Thank you so
thank
much.
You for the interview.